already a good start. Yeah, you made it far. Like you said, you're here to win. You've been winning. Do you ever get afraid that you're like not prepared for when a loss comes?
Um, we've dealt with some adversity in the past on this team.
Hmm.
During the Infernal Cup, we had some issues like that. We did take a loss pretty hard. But I think this team has some great chemistry, a great social chemistry to it that really helps
Okay.
us bounce back from losses. And my experience in NAOD has kind of prepared me to deal with like the psychological issues of
Hmm.
teams. I've had some pretty rough goes in the past, but this team seems to be able to bounce back from this sort of thing pretty fast. And they're a type of team that's going to get mad about it and come back stronger next time. So I'm happy
Okay.
for that.
Well, it's good to hear. Obviously, is there like any specific strategy you personally employ to deal with something like that, or any tips you would give to someone or people or teams that deal with adversity or don't really know how to deal with it?
Yeah, so my methodology has always been that if you're on an upward track throughout your entire like season as a team or your entire
Hmm.
like time spent as a team, you're always going to come out on top. So maybe, your results right now, might not be what you want, but if you just keep improving, little by little, like don't take a massive fall in performance, right? Just keep going
Hmm.
on, keep finding things to do, keep playing ranked, keep improving as a player, keep improving as a team. That's always going to put you on top. And keeping that mentality kind of makes the little things like maybe a bad scrim or a bad
Hmm.
tournament, those things kind of fall away into the, I guess, the background.
Yeah, so basically you gotta zoom out more than just focusing on that one game or that one moment. You gotta see it for the bigger picture that it is. That's good advice. I think a lot of people could potentially deal with that, even myself, because I tend to focus on smaller things every now and then. But hey, can't all be perfect. So, I mean, tonight you're playing against Magna Terra. I'm assuming you've at least played them before, at least you know who they are. Does it help to know, a team beforehand? Because I mean, obviously you can do some prep, maybe, but can it also be a little bit adverse to you?
Knowing a team beforehand seems to be very advantageous for this stack. I think
Mhm.
our coaching staff, me included, are very good at making adaptations to teams we've already seen in scrims. But we have actually not played the current iteration of Magna Terra, either in
Okay.
scrims or in tournament. However, Rovi is a friend of ours, and we're very excited to face him in an official tonight. But we're ready for it, and I think no matter
Yeah.
if we've played the team before or this is the first time we've seen the stack, I think we're very good at mid-match improvements. My players take to feedback and play the game very intelligently, so I think we're always ready to meet a challenge that comes up, even if we didn't expect something.
Okay. Well, sounds like a well together put together bunch with some good coaching behind it. It seems. Because how many coaches do you actually have? Like, what is your staff setup?
Yeah, so we have me, Tank
Hmm.
Engine. We have
Okay.
Tarion, who's my assistant coach, and we have Sunset, who is our. And we get some guest coaching appearances from Mr. Bleeple and Moose and Loopy occasionally.
Okay. Well, I mean, so that's like I said, it feels like a stacked behind the scenes, crowd as well. So that's always good. Um, do you value like input from a lot of different sources? Because I mean, you get a lot of guest coaching as well, or do you often get into disagreements as well?
I think the key thing is to have people on the coaching staff that respect each other and
Mhm.
respect experience, right? So with
Yeah.
our coaching staff, we built it from the ground up. This is a grassroots coaching staff. I
Mhm.
formed it myself actually, and we tried out as a group of three. And I think this is very helpful. I think what you get run into is a lot of OD teams are unable to actually have a diverse coaching staff with a
Mhm.
lot of different views because they're going to clash. But this staff are people who have all known each other for a while, who all respect each other, and who all have advanced game knowledge. So we're able to share our ideas in a civilized manner that doesn't cause discord and just makes all of us better and makes the performance go up as a team. And I think that's our biggest advantage against the competition is having a staff that can provide a diverse set of opinions, a diverse set of eyes, but is all going to keep the team going in the same direction. It's always going to have a unified vision.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's a very. I would say. I wouldn't necessarily say it's the It's. I mean, it's a relatively unique way of doing things. I don't think I see a lot of teams that have that set up. So it's very nice to hear that you really thought about that and came together as a group. Are there any shout outs you want to do before I let you go?
Um, Shout out to our manager, Swagged by Mom, for keeping things together this week, even though scheduling was tough. I think that's
Okay.
our MVP for this week.
Okay. Well, obviously, good shout out to your manager. Always good to do. Keep them happy. Keep them smiling. Well, thank you for the interview. Thank you for talking to me. I think we had some insightful points there, so that's always nice to get. And I mean, have fun watching the match. Good luck with everything that comes after as well. And maybe we'll talk again in the future.
Yeah, thank you, man of class. You guys have a great cast.
Yeah, have a great one. Well, that was insightful, Shy Guy.
It really was. I mean, it's always cool to kind of peel back the curtain a little bit, get some background and some insider knowledge there on the inner workings of these teams, especially with a team like Class6. I mean, he talked about the guest coaching that they've gotten, from Moopy, from Mr. Bleeple, like pulling in that high level, tier 2 knowledge onto your team, I think is only going to make them more and more dangerous.
Oh yeah, definitely will. And we're going to see some of the danger hopefully come out this match, and we're going to get straight into it because I don't think the teams can wait any longer. Because starting on the Pal Shy Guy, such a nice map as well. Sanctum specifically, what are we looking out for?
I mean, on Sanctum in particular, I am going to be looking at the potential for some environmental kills on this map. You've got the Orisa in the meta in a big way right now, and those halts are going to be deadly when you've got that pit right next to the point. Something that teams are going to have to keep an eye on, and I think both of these teams have really, really talented Orisa players. Seasons on the side of Class6, and then Garms for Magna, Terra, and this is just going to be a fantastic head-to-head.
Yeah, it's obviously what we're looking forward to, not the good old... No, we still have a lot of Lucios in the mix as well, so that could maybe help. Doomfist is a big deal. So like you said, those boops, those environmental kills could come in big. But I think there's also a lot of... I mean, it's been so long since the game is out that you would think that people are sort of ready for it, but that doesn't always seem to be the case. And we're going to have a little bit of a difference in composition after all. It does look like Doomfist, Moira's, Lucio's on both sides. Orisa's as well. But everything else is kind of different. We have Ana versus Moira, Sombra versus Reaper, and the Wrecking Ball versus the Sigma. Coming out right away. Yeah, I mean, they're setting up nicely. Oh, there they go. Straight into it, obviously. The Wrecking Ball, the Doomfist trying to dive in, get some kills out, but they don't really get any value just yet. It was a beautiful anti-net from Squid. Not enough follow-up, though, even though Derek does go pretty low. But right now, they're a little bit on the defensive. They just go back to the team, regroup, and there the balls goes in again. Together with Lucio, Doomfist goes off the map. Nos not having the cooldowns to work with. The point control will flip over here already, so it's just going to be about stall, and they're actually going to get the kills. Garm's down. Nico also falling. I don't think they can pull it back with those two big boops and burst DPS targets gone. Reaper trying to teleport in here, gets slept straight away, but Dazer will be fine, has that Wraith form available. Inferno off the map. Squid also dying to a boop here. We're seeing a lot of those sound waves in the kill feed, but right now, it's all looking to be stalled, and I think they're going to be resetting right here. So very drawn-out first fight, but interesting nonetheless.
Yes, Class6 playing that kind of typical meta composition right now. They're able to just park themselves on the point, and the more mobile, kind of flanky style of Magna Terra can't really get enough damage to find those kills once Nico goes down.
No, right now there's a little bit in the poke face, nothing really happening. Looking for an opening there with the halts maybe. Not finding anything just yet. And Shield Wars are obviously going to be won here by the now defending Class6 because they have more of it. But the Sombra going in already has the EMP. It goes out. It hits only the Reaper. Oh no, it hits the Orisa and the Sigma. But Reaper, Dazer just completely demolishing a few members there on the other side with the Death Blossom. It looks like that's going to be a quick cleanup. That being said, whole situation looking pretty even still.
Yeah, if you're Magna Terra there though, you've got to get a little bit more out of that EMP setup. That is kind of what you've been building towards. That's the huge ultimate for this composition, and it just doesn't deliver in this situation. Now they're not checking their corners. Dazer is right behind them.
Dazer doesn't actually get anything from that, has to Wraith form out, and the mines are out on the point, but there's no one really dying to them, and the shields just break it all apart. Nice Soundberry coming out from Kabimas, but that's already out, so that means that every damage now is going to be hard to be healed up, although Dirk is getting close to that Coalescence, that they're coming onto the point where their own Sound Barrier, Magna Terra is. They're doing a pretty good job of actually getting on there and getting some value, but Nico and Kabimas are trading out right now. There is the Gravitic Flux, but it doesn't get anything because it was only on Rovi, and Rovi had that Fortify up. Will still go down because it got surrounded by the enemy. It looks like this cleanup is just going to be there from Class6, and that's a pretty convincing first round.
Indeed it is, and they win that fight off the back of a couple of things. First, Season's Supercharger just sticks around so much longer than Roby's, and all the additional damage that Class 6 is able to put out kind of gives them the better position on the point. They're able to close out the fight. And then, Magna Terra just had to force their way onto the point. We were in an overtime situation, and Dazer is there to clean it up.
Yeah, now we're going over to Shrine. We saw the Sombra come out from Zeus before. You said that they could have gotten a little bit more value out of the EMP, right? But is Sombra really nothing more than just an EMP bot, or is it a little bit more complicated?
I mean, there are definitely other ways to play the Sombra, but you're not going to have a lot of openings for your team just off of kind of the vanilla hacks in this current meta. There's too much of a kind of defensive setup on the other times, and they kind of realized that Sombra wasn't quite cutting it. They're going back to the Reaper themselves.
Yeah, so it's a mirror matchup right now. No fancy changes, and Zeus already down to Nos. Dazer gets Iron Crit. This looks like a really dominant start once again from Class 6, and this time I don't think this fight's gonna last a lot longer. So just gonna clean it up. Nice first point cap, and Class 6 in a very good position to start getting some more percentage up.
Yeah, once again, they come out on top of that first fight, which means they'll start building up this percentage. They've got the ultimate advantage. I mean, look at the Reapers on both sides. 80% to that Death Blossom for Dazer, only 30 for Zeus. Class 6 in a very comfortable spot right now.
You can't really build up a Death Blossom if you just punch to a statue straight away in the first second of a fight. Right now, though, they're going to try and obviously come in again. The accretion doesn't get much here, but the Doomfist goes in, gets a little bit more value. Zeus is low, Rovi already down. This looks like a rough fight already for Magna Terra. Looks like they want to retreat as well, but they're not going to get out that easy. Grams already... Garm's is really under a lot of pressure there. The Meteor Strike comes out, doesn't get anything straight away, but Nos just follows it up with a kill onto Nico. And it looks like, once again, it's going to be a staggered fight end. They're just going to slowly clean everything up, and they're almost going to their spawn now. Are they going to stop here? Yeah, okay. So they are backing off a little bit. That's okay.
That is pretty wise there, and they are able to win that next fight pretty much off the back of that first pick onto Rovi. The coalescence from Squid a little bit too late to save the off tank, and Class 6 just able to collapse in on top of Magna Terra.
Amazing job here. Nico already taking down Nos, goes in with a Meteor Strike, gets the Supercharger out of the way, and it does look like Dazer's Death Blossom actually doesn't get that much because he got booped away. There's a Gravitic Flux from the attacking team of Magna Terra, and they get the follow-up onto Dirk from it. Season's already down as well. Looks like this Magna Terra team is finally going to get some percentage on the board, and they needed it because it was getting very close to the 100% for Class 6 here.
No, I mean, if they had lost that fight, they were looking at a desperate rush to get back to the point. But now, though, they will be able to get the flip. It's going to come in at like 95%, and that's exactly what you want if you're Class 6.
You're still going. It's barely. It didn't get to 99. You're gonna be almost frustrated with that with your Class 6, where you're just saying 99. Come on, but no, they're gonna get the point started. It's looking pretty good here for the defense, though.
Indeed they are, and that is going to be huge for them. They need to hold on to this point. They can't afford to lose a fight, so they've got to be kind of stingy with these ultimates. If I'm them, I'm looking to win this next fight just off the back of that Supercharger. And
Dazer, nice teleport behind, but the rest of his team is already dead. So, I mean, you're in a good position, Dazer, but you're not going to get anything done. Bye-bye, back to spawn with you. And I think it's only Cabinmas that actually gets out alive from that one. So, good defense.
Yeah, they take that fight decisively, and that's exactly what you needed. It doesn't give Class 6 any time whatsoever to build up to ultimates of their own. They're just going to have those 2 damage ultimates coming into the next fight, so still a decent chance for the defender.
Still have a good chance here. They're going, they're rotating nicely. So Class 6 is trying to get rid of the resources, and Nos already taking down Nico. That's huge. No more Doomfist that can disrupt anything. Dazer again teleporting him behind. Has the Death Blossom ready? Will he use it? He actually tries to find another position around. I think they really lost track of the Reaper now. It's a good sound barrier, but not everyone being able to benefit from it because most of them are already dead. The Death Blossom does come out from Dazer, and he does finally start cleaning everything up. Rovi throws out the Gravitic Flux, but I don't think you're going to get anything from that one. It's just Nosk and Dazer cleaning up the point. Looks like they're going to flip it back, and I don't know if anyone can actually touch anymore.
The Wrecking Ball is in the area. Garm's trying to buy some time, but deleted instantly, and now it's just desperation for Magna Terra.
Oh, it's so good. There's so many stuns, and just burst damage on the side of Class 6. You're not going to get through in any way, shape, or form. Nico tries, but right now they're just going to have to try something completely different because this is not getting them a map win. It's Class 6 taking map 1.
Indeed they will, and coming out incredibly strong. I think this is a team that is kind of building up momentum as this tournament goes on. They dropped a map in their first series in the first round, haven't lost one since, and they are just looking incredibly strong at the moment. Their grasp of the meta is top notch, and they are really looking like a contender at this point.
Yeah, and obviously, they are still in the upper bracket for a reason, right? And they're there to win it all. I mean, I guess every team is, but they're still on a very good track to win it all. And I mean, if the series keeps going like this, it does look like Class 6 has an edge. That being said, I always say Control, it's a nice warm-up, but it doesn't really tell you the theme of the rest of the series necessarily, because we're looking at a map type that is just a free-for-all. And it doesn't have that much strategy. It's just counter-picking and then counter-playing. And yeah, I mean, it's fun. You still have to do some teamwork, you have to do some target calling, but now we're going to get to the real strategy. Now we're going to get into the next map type. And I mean, that's when the first strategic choice comes in. Which map do you ban if you're Class 6? Where do you not want to go?
That is a difficult question to say right now, because it doesn't seem like these teams are necessarily familiar with each other. We heard from Tank Engine, Class 6 has never played Magna Terra before. They don't know exactly what they're dealing with. So at that point, you kind of default back on whatever is comfortable for you and your players.
Yeah.
And it looks indeed like it's going to be Hanamura banned out for Class 6. They don't want to be playing that assault map, and King's Row coming in as the pick.
Yeah, we know King's Row. It's the map that everybody knows. I think if you haven't played King's Row, you haven't played Overwatch. That's kind of what we're looking at here. So gonna be a very familiar map for everyone to play, but that could be a good and a bad thing for Magna Terra, of course. Like you said, you're going back to the comfort picks, but King's Row is a comfort pick for literally any Overwatch player, because there's no real I don't think there's any secrets it has from us anymore. Like from the darkest alleyway to the most lit up clock tower, we know where we need to go. And starting on defense here for Class 6 as well, that is going to be it's going to be interesting. Most teams like to start on defense for a lot of different reasons, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, if we're going to keep in these meta compositions, they really looked like they had it figured out.
No, they definitely did, and I think Magna Terra is certainly pretty strong on that meta composition as well. I mean, the results for them on that second point of Nepal were much better than when they tried to go a little bit off script and play that Sombra, play the Wrecking Ball. It didn't quite work out for them on Sanctum, so we'll see if getting back to the meta means that they have a little bit better of a shot here. But I gotta say, Class 6 looking incredibly strong right now. That DPS duo of Nas and Dazer is just so deadly at the moment.
Yeah, it really is. And it's not even, a lot of the times, especially on Shrine there, I had a feeling like, yeah, but Dazer's just teleporting around. He's not actually in the fight. So that kind of almost impresses me more that they're still able to win these fights when they're sort of 6v5 until Dazer actually gets there. But is that really what's happening, or am I reading that wrong?
No, I mean, I think you were definitely right in that Dazer is kind of being a little bit of the distractor for the side of Class 6. He's teleporting into the backlines and trying to draw attention. A lot of times we're seeing him have to use those fades pretty quickly to get out of dodge, but all of that attention going on him means that no one is looking at Nos. He can come flying out of nowhere with that rocket punch, and he can really make life difficult for Magna Terra.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that whole, what was that? Oh yeah, when they started playing Sombra Goats, right? Versus Goats, that, when one team was running the Sombra, the other team kind of had to ignore the Sombra when she wasn't there and go for the other team. But now that you don't really have that same mobility advantage that you used to have with Goats, that's harder to do. So I guess that's kind of what we're seeing here now, where Dazer is doing a lot of distracting, and it's working. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just a fun thing. Maybe it has nothing to do with each other. It's probably really different phenomenons. But you know what? Going to King's Row here, one thing I do know is that I would love to see some Widowmaker. I mean, we probably won't see it because of the meta, but there's always someone that just picks it in spawn just to see if they can get a quick pick and then switches back. I don't think we're going to see the Sure 4 debate. You know, it's not going to be debate. It's going to be the LA Gladiator Spitfire matchup, but who knows?
Who knows indeed. You know, there's always opportunity for teams to kind of innovate. We're still very young in the meta right now, so I don't want to approach the meta right now like it is cut and dry, like every team is going to play exactly the same way. That does seem to be the case here on Kings Row as Class 6 once again rolling out with the tried and true. And I can't say I blame them. They have just looked phenomenal on this so far here tonight and in their previous matchups. So, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And, you know, they are going to keep rolling with what's working.
Yeah, the other side, Zeus actually starting maybe on that way to make... Oh, no, it was the debate 4 seconds before it started. I opened my mouth too soon. It always happens, you know, but... They're going to just run in, mirror competition once again, and this is where it's really going to count. They're just going to try and get through the choke first of all. Don't think that's going to be that much of an issue, but Nos is prowling already, gets in with that punch, and they get the kill onto Zeus. Nos does get punished though, so it could very well turn out in their favor because attacker spawn advantage is a thing here. A lot of damage of the Seasons, just backs off, gets healed up, and now they have a clear entry through the choke. No more accretion to worry about either. Dazer is teleporting behind them, is hiding inside of the statue on the little health pack. But I don't think they're going to have a lot of trouble with that guy. Nos is coming back already, though, so they didn't really take that much advantage of that spawn advantage, but it's going to be there. They're just going to try and get in. Seasons, once again, taking a lot of damage here, but not getting finished off quite yet. The damage is just pumping out from both sides, but the early coalescence there from Squid. They take down Nos again, hasn't been able to do much this time. Dirk already throwing the coalescence out as well, but not getting that much value out of that. The meteor strike comes in. There's a lot of damage on the season. Season's down here, and that is Infernal also falling. Tank line down, and I don't think they're going to be able to contest this anymore. Dazer fading out, and this looks like a very good point take from Magna Terra coming in hot on Kings Row.
Class 6 tried to fight that one back, committing the coalescence to the fight when they were already down, but they just don't have the manpower and the ability to secure the kills. Too much sustainability coming out from Squid's coalescence to keep Magna Terra up, and now they get this payload moving, but Class 6 respawning quickly. They've already got control of this choke.
Yeah, nice gravitic flux coming in, not getting any follow-up straight away, but Nico will fall because as a result. Season's also going down though, and that means that if they play this slowly, they could probably just overpower the enemy team. But Garms goes down late, and that means that it's overwhelmingly in the favor of Class 6 right now. They're doing the selfless tactic, they're keeping them in spawn, and that's what you like to see from a Kings Row defending team. Just hold them at the door.
You said if Magna Terra can play this slowly, but Class 6 just doesn't give them the option there. They go right at them. They take the fight to the spawn doors practically, and that's going to give them enough time to potentially get Seasons back in here before Magna Terra can really push.
Nos already getting the kill on the Garbs. Nico is down as well. They don't even know how to get out of spawn anymore, it seems. Like, you always wish there was like a 4th door they could use, but it's not going to be the case. They're going to have to try and come out through the inside of the clock tower. It does look like they're going to be able to walk out of here, and it maybe not be spotted out by Class 6. They're going to go all the way around. They're going to use the choke against them if they can. This would be incredible, but the payload is past it, so they have to still go get that one first. The gravitic flux is out, but I don't think they're hitting anyone with that besides the fortified Orisa. Zeus tries to go in, maybe do Death Blossom, but doesn't get anything out of that. Instead, it's Dazer and Dirk focusing up with those ultimates. Nos getting a kill on the Rovi. It looks like once again they're back in spawn and they have to try again.
Indeed they will, but a huge commitment coming out of Class 6 there in terms of the ultimates. The Soundbearer, the Coalescence, the Death Blossom, the Supercharger, all of it used there. They've got nothing, so now they might have to give a little bit of ground.
Well, it doesn't look like they're giving that much ground, but they're giving a little bit of ground indeed. They're still holding roughly at the choke, but this time they're actually going to back off really quickly. The payload is going to move through the choke in a little bit, probably, but they're going to have not many tools to defend with. Like you said, if support ult's down, everything else down, Iron Crit still has his. There's a Supercharger already coming out from Garms. I think they're looking towards a Death Blossom, and it's going to get Nos. But Nico and Garms will both lose something here, although that being said, I don't think it really matters when Zeus is popping off, getting every head on the enemy team. And it's going to be Dazer, finished off, looking like the payload will finally get closer to B.
Yes, it will. And after that hot start, Magna Terra cooling off just a little bit. Now got the momentum back on their side. Looking to push forward here and try to get position for this next fight. They've got Nico up on the high ground. He's got the meteor strike, so he can get incredibly aggressive.
Oh, nice graphitic flux. Nico going low. The sound barriers are nice to answer. Good response from Iron Crit. Season's going down. Kabimas also falling. It looks like they are going to keep this momentum going because you're not going to be able to do a lot of defending. But they say the fights may be winnable throughout the Coalescence. Nos goes in deep. Are they going to get more follow-up? The meteor strike is out. Nos has to get a kill with this if they want to defend this properly, and doesn't do it. Just goes to the high ground. Tries to stay safe. Needs some healing and is just being pushed back constantly. But now the respawns are coming back. It looks like Season is going to be there, so it looks like they're actually 6v6 once again. Who's going to come out on top of this? It looks like Iron Crit is definitely not the one, but Kabima's also falling. It's going to be Dazer coming with the Death Blossom, gets Nico. Zeus also falling, and it does look like, against all odds, potentially this is the hold from Class 6 right now.
A little bit of a missed opportunity there for Magna Terra. Class 6 do a good job. They recognize they have an option to kind of stick around in this fight. They commit the Coalescence, and they turn the fight around in their favor. Now we are on the verge of a hold here on point B. If they can continue this defense, they are looking incredibly strong.
It's such a weird old situation as well. I mean, Zeus close to the Death Blossom, Days are nowhere near it. They're really not matching up in the ultimates, like who has what right now. But Nos going in with a punch once again, gets nothing out of it this time, besides a little bit of CC, of course. And now they're gonna try and come back in. It's gonna be Squid, gonna be Zeus coming in from the side. Nice gravitic flux is the follow-up there. Yes, Inferno will fall. There's a Death Blossom. Looks like no one can eat that one when the Sigma is down. Both tanks and Nos are gone. It's just gonna be Days are getting a constellation kill to Grams, but that's probably about everything they're gonna get out of it. So point B gonna be capped. Little under 2 minutes left, and that could be enough to get it done, but we get over 5 minute holds often on King's Row, so it's not just said and done just yet.
Not by any means at this point, and still quite a few tools there for the side of Magna Terra as they look to keep this push going. They'll have the supercharger, but they're pushing into Seasons as well.
Nos. He does it again, just comes in from all the other side of the street, gets Iron Crate out of it. Roby falls shortly after, and they're just going to chase them back into spawn again. They're a very aggressive team, it seems, and it's working out for them beautifully.
Indeed, and it all kind of starts with Nas. I mean, pretty much every fight, it seems like he's opening up with a punch, whether it's getting a kill or just kind of putting into damage onto Magna Terra. It's just making these entries so difficult.
And Nos and Dazer we thought it was a Doomfist 1v1, but then the Reaper just chimed in and made it harder for Nico to move. Nos will go down as well, so it's an even trade, but they're still going to have to get out of spawn in the first place. That's what they're finally doing, but Dazer is lurking behind them, going to drop from the high ground and almost has that Death Blossom, 1 or 2 shots, and he's got it. Destroys the supercharger at least, but the sound barrier comes out from the defense. Do they really need it? It doesn't look like it, but Meteor Strike coming in, goes on the Season. Season's going very low, but the healing is there. The Gravitic Flux coming out. There's a Doomfist ult, but it doesn't get anyone. Kabimas is the first to fall in this fight. Death Blossom from Dazer doesn't seem to find anything, but Squid will fall, and that's a lot of healing gone. You want that back. The Gravitic Flux is huge, though. Will they get the follow-up? Yes, Nos goes down, and everyone else with him. That's a nice ultimate, nice follow-up as well, and they really needed that, because now with 10 seconds left, they cannot lose the fight anymore. They won't complete the map otherwise.
Yes, but they've given themselves a shot as we approach this final checkpoint. No one really having ultimates at the moment. Zeus, the only one ready to go for this fight.
All right, now Dazer has been background, but Zeus is getting a Death Blossom out, gets a lot of follow-up, gets Nos down already, and that is a big playmaker gone. Now the defense so now the Creation of Infernal gets nothing, and right now you're going to look to defend against the Doomfist and the Reaping your backline, but it doesn't look like you're going to be able to do it without your own TPS gone. And I mean, Coalescence comes out here from the attackers. Infernal does get Zeus, but Seasons and Kabimas are falling. Big plays are needed here from Nos, and he's just not able to deliver right now. Looks like this payload is going to reach the end of the map in overtime, but it reaches it nonetheless.
And you're going to be more than okay with that if you are Magna Terra, after how the first map went, after the long stall you had on point B here of King's Row. To finish the map at all, it puts you in an excellent spot. Now you can kind of rest a little bit easier here, knowing at the very least, even if you get rolled, it's not over immediately.
No, and we talked a little bit before about how you don't really want to define the meta just yet, and I think that's also really important to take into account. We did have a little bit of a patch yesterday, which may or may not have changed a few things up. Don't see that much Symmetra anyways anymore on a lot of these maps that we're playing right now, but her damage has been nerfed a bit, so maybe that has a little bit of an impact. Got some Zarya damage nerfs. Bastion can do a little bit of more healing resource right now, but in general, do you really think that patch is going to impact on what these teams are going to do?
I don't see it. I think it kind of just cements us even further into what we are currently seeing for the most part.
Okay.
The only real change that we got that affects the heroes that you're seeing on the screen right now, I believe, was a slight Sigma change in terms of the damage from his primary fire. But I don't think that's anywhere near enough to kind of take him out of the meta or anything. Obviously not. We're still seeing him in force here tonight. So to me, it doesn't make a massive difference, but you never know. It takes a while for these things to have their effects seen.
Yeah, no, it's Sigma's overall damage output should be slightly lower, 10 damage less on his double orbs and 10 extra on his accretion. But of course, accretion is on a cooldown, so it's less damage overall. You should be right now though. We're going to be trying to see Nico go for an early punch, just pulls it back a little bit. They're coming in with the mirror matches, obviously. Nothing changing here. No Baptiste yet. That might have been the only thing that I might have been expecting. But right now, Nico is in, gets a lot of damage on him, but it's Dirk that goes lowest first. Gets healed up, though, by the Lucio. It's going to be Nos and Dazer taking down the main tank and the main healing source. So it's looking like this is going to be a fairly quickly point A take.
Their Class 6, they wait for Nico to come in with that rocket punch. They absorb the cooldowns from the Doomfist, and they force him to exit the fight completely. Once that happens, they know they can surge forward, they can swarm the point, and they get a quick point A on King's Row.
Yeah, they've got the quick point A. They're already trying to push through the choke, and they're given the space here as well. No choke holds here from Magna Terra. They're doing a lot of damage to Dazer to Infernal, to Nos, but no one going down. As I stated, of course, Infernal gets taken out, and now they're at the choke. Now they're going to be holding them under that archway, and that's going to be a pretty good place to hold them, especially with the tools they got coming up.
For sure, and this is gonna buy them enough time. That kill onto Infernal for Squid to get up to this coalescence. Both Moira is gonna have that as the teams try to go through this choke.
Ooh, Dazer on the prowl, goes straight for Squid, gets the kill, but without any contest whatsoever. There goes anything else. The health bar just dropping straight away because you lost your Moira. Rovi got a constellation kill onto Nos, but only Nos down. I think they're fine. I think they got this. I mean, it was, what was it, a 5v3 at that point, and it looks like the payload's gonna keep on trucking, but a little bit of a stall came out nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, that fight was over from the moment that Dazer got that first kill. The coalescence, such a valuable ultimate right now, especially as defenders with the attackers going through a choke like that, and Squid going down, just it was done.
All right, now they're going to try and obviously hold them at point B because it's not over just yet. The Gravitic Flux comes out, gets nothing, and on the other side, Infernal and Dazer are just cleaning house here, not wanting anyone to be alive. No more DPS, no more Lucio, no more Orisa, and with only a Reaper left, I don't think they're going to have any chance to hold here. So they're going to have to try again. And now with 5.5 minutes left, you're just hoping that you can get them to under a minute, right? Because completing the map seems almost guaranteed at this point.
Yeah, this is a really tough spot for Magna Terra. They do get a nice kill there on the Nos that could give them a chance to stabilize, but this is such an uphill battle. They've got to win virtually every fight from here on out, and that has been a tall order so far.
It has been, but they do have the ultimates to work with, so it looks like they're going to be able to do it. Meteor Strike comes out, the Sound Barrier to counter that. That's maybe not the ultimate you wanted to use for that, but nothing else is close enough. Dazer comes in with a kill onto Garms, but Zeus and Squid trying to kill clean up on the other side. They're trading out. The trades are looking to favor the defense right now, so Squid healing up a few more, and they're just going to come back in. Nos and Dazer, though, they're ready to get some more kills out here. Nico is also on the prowl, but Iron Crit has fallen, so they're backing off a little bit so they don't get overwhelmed by the speed boost of Kambivas. And right now, they are really retreating. They really want to get their Orisa back, especially. And right now, it looks like they're going to be able to do that. But this is such a poke battle. This fight never really ends or starts to begin with. It's just pick after pick, and then a little bit of nothing, and another pick. comes out like that one onto Zeus. Dazer goes in with the Death Blossom. They get Seasons on the other side, so it's not completely over just yet. The defenders' spawn advantage, they're even in numbers. It looks like with that Gravitic Flux, they're going to be able to clean everything up. So Class6 getting held off for a bit, but still 4 minutes to go, and one more fight win will probably net them the point.
And they had to commit quite a bit to just get the stop there. The Sound Barrier, the Death Blossom, the Coalescence, and then that Flux to close it all out is going to leave them a little bit strapped for ultimates. Not anything just ready just yet for Class6, but they are approaching some high impact ultimates with that Supercharger, the Coalescence as well.
Well, not this, at least not the Meteor Strike, because Nos is already down, and now they're going to push out aggressively. Nice aggressive poise here from Magna Terra. They realize they don't want to fight near their spawn, they want to fight near the enemy spawn, and that's a very good stance to take, because they're going to do so much damage here. The Coalescence is trying to push them back. The Coalescence is being used almost in their own spawn. That's not where you want it, Class6. You want it way further forward, because now it's gone, and you have nothing left. Meteor Strike, is he going to go aggressive? He is. Dazer gets pulled in, but uses the rate for him to get out. Nico, in fact, will get finished off himself. Dazer gets the Supercharger, but will the Meteor Strike get anything? It doesn't look like anything. A little bit of damage, but the Coalescence was out from Squid. I think he got punched out of that, though, so Rovi is the one to fall. Almost the boop off the map there from Iron Crypt, but will fall as a result, and it looks like with so few members, they're going to go into stall mode here on the Magna Terra, and they're actually going to be able to stall. It looks like Nico will be for like half a second, then Zeus comes in for like half a second after Wraith form. Maybe Rovi and Iron Crypt will make it, but it's just 2v6. And will the Gravitic Flux be able to do anything? Not with that Sound Barrier getting all the value it needs. The Death Blossom is cleaning everything up, and with 2.5 minutes left, they're going to complete the map. So that means, at worst, we're going to get a draw for Class6.
Yes, and now, you know, if you are Magna Terra, you start to worry a little bit here. You put up a solid effort there on point C, but
yeah,
your defense through the first 2 points here on King's Row has kind of sunk you a little bit on this map. You still have a chance to come away with the draw, but it is going to take a Herculean effort for them to pull this one off. Class6 overwhelming at the end. They knew, you know, they had that 5.5 minute time bank like we talked about. They just build up ultimates. They come in with just a loaded war chest, and now they can really do the same on point A.
Yeah, I mean, they could, but then again, we've seen some miracle holds before in the past. It's not all said and done just yet, but 2.5 minutes. I mean, last time they took it in 20 seconds, so it doesn't look like that's going to be an easy mountain to climb here for the defending team of Magna Terra, but everything's possible. It's Overwatch. The mirrors are again on the field, though. Maybe Infernal will run it with the Zarya, but I doubt it.
No, I can't really see that being the case, especially after the nerfs that we just talked about. You know, there is potential here, I guess. The grab a great ultimate for kind of clearing up the point, getting that one tick they need. So, you know, this is an interesting look.
Yeah, maybe it's just something they're trying out. I mean, they have 2.5 minutes after all, but as long as they don't let the time bank get over the rest of them, that's all they need. Nos and Dazer going in deep, but they're not getting anything for their troubles. Infernal is actually one going down very low. Nos doing a lot of punching, though, so still gets a lot of value, and Dazer is trying to chase down Nico, but will go down very low themselves, and Season's falling first. Yes, Iron Crypt will fall as well, but I think your main tank is a little bit more important than your Lucio right now. Nos going through the back, though, says this fight is still winnable. It's not over just yet, but Dazer will fall. Kabimas as well, and a Nos. I mean, as much as you want to carry, this is not one of those fights where you're going to be able to pull it back. You're going to have to try again.
Indeed they will, but they build up to that Coalescence over the course of that first fight. Going to be matched by Squid as well, so no real advantage to either team, but still an opportunity for Class6 to push back in here. Infernal staying alive, kept his energy up, and now going to be pretty deadly.
Oh, Season's already down. It's been falling a lot, very early. A lot of these fights. It feels like they find their target, and right now they're just going to push them back. Both Coalescences are out, but that's not really going to net any value for the attackers. Right now, Days are under a lot of pressure. Infernal as well is very high charge, but is also going to be very much in trouble if they get too close to the enemy team. That's going to be another reset, and I mean they're back relatively quickly, but they still have to wait for Dazer for a little bit right now.
Yes, they do, and you know, right now I think Season's having trouble. They don't have that second shield from the Sigma, so they're just getting aggressed on.
Yeah, Nico is falling early, but that Supercharger gets a very nice damage boost onto that Death Blossom. Gets 2 on the other side. Nos is building it back, though. Gets a lot of value out of that. The accretion doesn't get Nos in time before the punch comes out, and the Gravitic Flux, I don't think got any targets. Nos is trying to punch his way and just get his fight win out of that, just the mere punches. With 33 seconds left, this looks like this is going to be the last fight if they're not resetting, and it doesn't look like they are. The Wrecking Ball is actually in from Inferno now, but Kabimaz gets taken down on the side. No more sound barrier, not that he had it anyways. Days are trying to go into the Death Blossom, gets very deep, it gets taken out by Nico. Nico punching it up right now, and it looks like we're heading towards a draw here, because I don't think they can fully reset, and Nos is just getting taken down even later. Season's trying to run away, Derek trying to run away, but I don't think they're gonna, oh, they're getting out with their lives, but who's gonna get back in with 5 seconds left?
It's going to be Kabimaz coming in from the high ground on the Lucio. They've got the Wrecking Ball there as well, but that Coalescence deadly.
Already out. Jorg Days or Kabimaz, they're all falling. They're not going to get anything out of this. And it looks like the Zarya Gambit did not pay off. This is going to be a draw on King's Row.
And I have to question that decision a little bit there for Class 6. I mean, the first attack round was so strong for them. They have been playing that meta composition to such a high level that I don't really understand the idea of going away from it. Yes, the Zarya provides an ult, the Grav, that can be great for taking that single tick you need, but it's kind of putting all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, I don't think they actually got the Grav out in the end, did they? I don't think we actually saw it.
They did, and they comboed it with the Meteor Strike. Nos was able to get 1 kill off the back of that, but it wasn't kind of the big combo that you need out of that ult.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like enough for my double ultimate combo. No, you kind of want to get at least 3 kills out of that one if you're doing it right. But hey, that means that we're still in the 1-0 scenario. That means nothing actually changed in the series, and I mean it means that the win condition changes. So we're not going to have a map ban right now. It's just going to be, again, a map pick coming out from the team that lost the map, which is going to be still Magna Terra. But they survived King's Row. I think that's really what we're gonna call it now, because obviously they didn't win it, but they got the draw out. And I mean, they did a good job on their defense there. Maybe it got gifted to them, but kind of look at gifted horse in the mouth and then complain about it. So yeah, they got there.
Yeah, they definitely won't be complaining, especially after looking at 2.5 minutes to defend on point A of King's Row. That was an uphill battle, and they're able to bring it back, get the draw there, and force that means we're going to have at least one more map in the series. We'll at least be going to map 4 at the end of the day, so they stay alive. They don't get a point on the board, but they get the next best thing. We're headed to Lijiang Tower, so someone going to come away with a map win this time.
That's definitely going to happen here. Lijiang Tower is not drawable because it's a control map, and we've already seen a control map before, and that went quite heavily in the favor of Class 6. So what's going to change here on Lijiang that Magna Terra might actually be able to take this away? Why would they pick it?
Well, I think in part they aren't going to try the shenanigans with that Sombra again. I don't see that coming out from Magna Terra, and that was what kind of made Nepal so one-sided. They lost that first point 100-0. With that composition. When they were playing the mirror, it was much closer.
Oh yeah, I do want to bring up that Sombra pick, by the way, because you said there were a few changes to Sigma, and I think a big deal of what maybe people sort of looked over is that Sombra has a lot more impact on what Sigma wants to do now. So hacking, I think hacking Sigma takes his shield away, and then like EMP also destroys it if he doesn't have it yet. It's like there's a few interactions that made Sombra stronger against Sigma. So that's maybe why Magna Terra ran it in the first place. But, maybe we can ask them after. They can still win the series, obviously. Right now, though, we're going to look to Lijiang Tower. And, I mean, I don't know. I'm curious which point we're going to get first. Because is there potential to maybe see some Pharah come out? It is the map for it, after all.
There definitely is. And I know for a fact that I have seen the Pharah from Magna Terra. Zeus has been the one to pick that up, if I remember correctly, to their matches last week, and they were pretty strong with it. I believe they were kind of mostly playing it as a counter to their opponents who are also running the Pharah. For the most part, they seem to want to stick to that Reaper Doomfist combo. But if there's ever going to be a map for it, I think Lijiang Tower is.
Yeah, and it will all depend on what point we get first. If we get Control Center, I doubt we're going to see the Pharah come out straight away. But there's always these interesting things that teams can do, and they can surprise us. I mean, they already threw out the Moira and the Ana, the Sombra and the Ana in the first control map that we saw them play. And maybe Class 6 has some interesting strategies coming up. I'm sorry about that. Do you think we're going to see the Symmetra? Because we've seen the Symmetra strat happen, especially on Night Market, where you teleport to the top window. We've seen a little bit coming out as well onto Gardens, where you can teleport to the same window to point as well. And I mean, she's been nerfed a little bit in damage, but she still does a lot against shields.
No, I definitely think there is potential for that. And even if we don't necessarily see the Symmetra play, one thing I've liked out of a lot of teams recently is using the Symmetra purely for a rollout on these control maps, where you can set the teleporter right outside your spawn door, get your team to the point just that teeny tiny little bit faster, give you an edge in the first fight. And as we know, on control, those first fights are everything.
They're so important. I mean, it's still one of those things where we saw the statistics. I don't think we've seen the statistics in a while of how important the first fight is, but I think it's very apparent when you look at most match results. So, yeah, first fight, you kind of want to win that one. Otherwise, you're going to be behind the entire game. Right now, though, we're waiting for them to get into the map. There might be a little bit of talking going on. Obviously, you know, both teams made a little bit of a boo-boo here and there. Magna Terra didn't win the first map for certain reasons. Class 6 couldn't close out King's Row for others. So there's definitely something to talk about here and there. Right now, though, we're looking to maybe some swaps coming out, maybe some subs coming in. Let's see.
Potentially, but...
Potentially. I mean, I don't know who you'd swap out, because everyone's been doing a great job, but, you know, it's maybe some specialists going with certain heroes. Looks like they're ready though, so we're gonna load into Lijiang Tower, and I mean, going to China, going to the land of the rising sun, as they call it. So, yeah,
you know that's Japan, right?
I mean, you know, the rising sun. No, oh, it's a different one, right? Oh yeah, that's Japan. So, China is the one where the sun never goes down, right? Where it's just you never see it go down because the country's so big. Or is that Russia? I don't remember. There's so many countries in the world. So
geography not my strong suit.
No, but it's not really geography, is it? It's just like cultural saying things. There's something with the sun with China as well. That being said, though, right now they're going to Night Market, which is the map that we talked about with the Symmetra teleporters. You know, going up to the windows really quickly. Whether they'll pull it out, that's another question. Whether they'll pull the Pharah out is another question. Right now, in spawn though, looks like still mirrors, but they still have 24 seconds.
We've got some time here, and I think it's going to be very interesting as we go into this map. How does Class 6 respond to that time? You've got to be feeling a little bit disappointed after, you know, King's Row. You had that map. It was there right in the palm of your hands, and it slips through a little bit. You know, we talked to Tank Engine earlier before the match about their kind of mentality, their ability to reset. Can they put it into action here?
Ooh, I thought we're gonna see the Ana Lucio come out, but it's gonna be the Moira Lucio once again from Kabimas and Dirk. So it's mirror compositions all the way. Nos not getting anywhere with that first punch. So right now we're still looking at a fairly even fight. It's gonna be about the shield cooldowns. Zeus teleporting in behind him though gets a lot of damage on that first target, but Garms and Squid are probably gonna be the first ones to fall. I mean, Squid's already down. Garms going very low without that healing. No one's gonna save you from that punch. Looks like this is gonna be a first point attempt. And a first point cap once again coming out from Class 6.
And you know, in every meta, there is one hero that I think you just like cannot afford to lose first in a fight. In this one, I think it's got to be the Moira. The healing and the AOE healing that she provides is so vital to these team compositions. When Squid goes down, it's kind of done at that point, especially with Garm so low.
Yeah, Dirk a little bit ahead in that Coalescence charge as well for that very same reason, but not too far behind. I think they will both have it, and basically now Coalescence out from both of them. The later one is from Squid because they got a little bit later, but right now it's looking all fine. Everyone healed up, but Dazer goes a little bit too far, goes down. Nos is trying to pull it back, goes in with a meteor strike, gets the kill onto Iron Crypt, and that's not the one you wanted. You wanted something more out of that one. And right now it's just a 1-for-1 trade. Infernal and Rovi going down, so equal Sigma losses, and they're gonna push in. Garms just push through the shield, and Nico and Zeus will aid him in getting all those kills. Looks like this is gonna be a point recap and a point flip here. If Dazer has anything to say about it, that's not gonna happen though. But Dazer is very lonely, only has the Lucio with him, and I don't think that's gonna be enough in order to stave the enemy off. So it's gonna be a point flip here at about 60%.
They buy some decent time there for Class 6 on the point, but ultimately not able to stick around in that fight. but look at everything Class6 is about to push back in with the Supercharger, the Death Blossom. That combo has been working for them so far tonight, and I expect to see it once again here.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're getting close to the same on the other side, but Zeus, Rovi, Iron Crit all go down without even ultimate being used. I think they use a supercharger, but that's literally it, and they just power on through. Nothing that can be done. They're trying to stall out for a little bit, but Squid, you're not gonna be able to save the point there. Only 29% gained, and now you're gonna get close to last fight territory, and so many ultimates still online.
For both teams, actually, we're realistically gonna have 5 ultimates maybe used on both sides of this next fight. This is going to be chaotic. It's going to be a spectacle, and it's hard to say who's going to come out on top. No real advantage at this point.
Oh, the pull into the gravitic flux, but the sound barrier is already there, so a lot of ultimates out from Class6 right now. The gravitic flux comes in from the other side, but it gets about the same value, which is not that much. And there's a meteor strike from Nos. Will he get the follow-up on anyone? It doesn't look like it. It's going to actually be Kabimas going down first. Zeus going into the back line, has the Death Blossom ready, but chooses not to use it because I don't think they need it. The gun is clean everything up, and right now it looks like at a 99% they will flip a point, but that is all they need. One fight, and Class6 wins the stage.
That's true, but very nicely played from Magna Terra there. The Squid, once again, able to get that opening pick onto Dazer with the Coalescence to kick things off. And without that frontline damage, Class6 just can't hang on.
Ooh, Zeus and Nico in a little bit of predicament as Nos tries to go for them, but they do get out. Zeus teleporting behind again, but it's going to be Dazer taking down Iron Crit first, and all the members are so low on the side of Magna Terra. Are they going to get out alive? Rovi sure isn't, but there's Death Blossom on the other side. He gets Nos. Does he get anything more? No, because they get taken down by Dazer, their counterpart Reaper. And right now, with the numbers being so low on the side of Magna Terra, are you going to be able to defend this? You're not going to afford to lose this point, because then you'll lose the stage, and it looks like that's just exactly what's going to happen. Gurm's coming out, gonna come back in with that Wrecking Ball, but you're not going to be able to do that much. Not rolling around at the speed of sound. It's going to get stunned up and taken out.
Yeah, Zeus gets back in with the Wraith Walk as well, but no one. Oh, actually, Nico even getting in on the fun, but the Supercharger from Seasons makes the cleanup quite easy for Class6. They'll take Night Market.
That Night Market finally taken. A little bit of a longer stall than we maybe anticipated on that last one, but it was never really in danger of flipping back over, I feel. So yeah, it wasn't as convincing as the first control point on the Paul. So that's a good sign for the rest of this map at least. But are we gonna see any creative switches coming out over here? It doesn't look like it just yet, but they still have a little bit of time to maybe make some switches. Does look like we're just going to see the mirror match up, but Kabimas potentially going over the Baptiste, which is possible.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of changes coming in on a map like this. The Baptiste is potentially doable, though I don't necessarily expect it. The close quarters seem like they would be perfect for the Moira, but maybe an interesting look here. Class6 trying something different. Nope, just going to go back to the Trident.
They did it on the last map as well. We should have sort of seen it coming there. But we was going to get the first pick because the Doomfists are taking very different angles. Nos going from the side, gets the kill on the Iron Crit. But there goes Nico, goes in as well. Doesn't get anything for his troubles, though. And now they can speed on them. No Lucio to get the counter speed boost. So Nico also falling, and they're just going to run back to spawn. They don't want to have anything to do with this. They put Rovi up as the sacrificial lamb. And Rovi, all he did was charge the Gravitic Flux, but did get far more than Inferno from that fight. So that's a little bit of a silver lining, I suppose.
It definitely is, but still a rough situation for Magna Terra. They lose the first fight once again. And Class6 has just been so good in these neutral engagements at the beginning of these maps. They seem to be winning nearly every one.
Yeah, and Nos trying to get an opening pick there, but it's going to be Dazer doing that job a little bit better. Nos also finding Rovi, so it's going to be another reset. I don't think you're going to push in without your Sigma and your Moira. And are they going to get out alive? That's the main question. Are you not going to get picked up in spawn? It doesn't look like it. Nos going to their spawn there with a meteor strike, gets punished for it as well. And that's not what you want from your Doomfist, going a little bit too deep. That being said, Zeus taken out of the map, so they're still relatively even. And this doesn't really pose that many opportunities to push back in.
No, it doesn't. And they're even going to stick around in the choke point, just waiting for Magna Terra to try to push in here. Dazer patiently waiting on the flank, but Nico coming up behind him could spell disaster.
Yeah, Dazer has to Wraith out already. Women is very aggressive, but can just Wraith out safely, really. There's a nice Graphitic Flux, and they get Dirk already out of it. Season's going very low, and not a lot of healing left will go down as well. With that sound barrier, I don't know if you really needed that one anymore. You already lost 3 people, and right now, you're just going to try and stall a little bit. But that's not going to happen for a long time. It's only Cabimas, and he's only touching now, but it's one Lucio versus the world, and that world is very cruel.
Okay, and 72%, a crucial flip coming in there for Magna Terra. They needed that right there, or otherwise they're on the verge of last fight territory. Now they get to control, but Zeus gets shut down.
Shut down, but so does Infernal, and he had the Gravitic Flux ready, so 2 ultimates out of that fight. Nico trading back together with Nos, so both Orissa's down, and then, you know, they're just trading out. There's not really one team getting the better of anything. Nico gets out safely with the Meteor Strike. I don't know if that was really what they wanted out of that one. Now goes into the enemy team, but doesn't really have anywhere to go. It just gets taken down by the Accretion and Infernal's follow-up. The Meteor Strike of Nos doesn't get much more, though, and they're still in control here on the side of Magna Terra. Rovi gets thrown up in the air, but not taken down because of a nice Coalescence. There we go. That's a nice Accretion. Infernal taking that one to the bank. And Squid just healing up everyone, taking down... They're making sure that Daisy can just get him with the Death Blossom, even though that doesn't get much. Nico will fall, though, but the stall is still there. They're just ticking up with this percentage. Yes, they get a few more kills, but they need to keep getting more. The supports are still on the point. They're very sustainable. They're very mobile, and they're going to keep getting this percentage tick up. 59, 60%, and I think the point will finally flip. It's going to be 62.
Honestly, not a bad hold there for Magna Terra, considering how long they were kind of down in that fight to hold on to 60%. Not bad at all, but now they're trying to push through this choke, and they don't have any ultimates to do it. Zeus getting kind of close to the Death Blossom. Rovi will have the Gravitic Flux, but otherwise they are pushing in dry.
And the defense doesn't have much more, and Inferno is already down. Dirk also falling, Dazer as well. In this vanilla fight, they are coming out on top, and they don't need to use anything, and now the ultimates are coming online. So this could be a very good hold from now on this control center for Magna Terra, looking to use their resources the way they want.
That gives them a real shot here as we approach the end of this map. They're trying to stay alive on Lijiang Tower. They've got to do it here and now. Cannot afford to lose another fight.
There we go. Zeus has that Death Blossom ready. Dazer is on the side, but not really close to anybody. And we know what Reaper needs to do. It's getting close. There goes the teleport, but Death Blossom is already out after the Gravitic Flux. Gets the kill onto Dabimus and Dazer together with that Sigma. Season's already down as well. Only 10% to go. Is anyone near the point with only 7%? 6, 5. Nos not getting anywhere close. I think, yeah, it's going to be Dirk going around the side. Will they touch in time? It does look like with the Fade, they barely make it. But meanwhile, the entire team is dying. Class 6 not getting anywhere near this point without taking a lot of damage. Garms will fall to Dazer because the Reaper does a lot of damage to that Orisa. But this Meteor Strike gets a lot of follow-up. Nice Death Blossom mostly blocked, but Nico will follow it. And Dazer actually pulling it back together with Nos. How did they take this back? This is insane. They're just coming back into the DPS or cleaning house. Dazer, that was the hero of that fight. Just pulls it back on with the Death Blossom, and now they're gonna take Lijiang Tower 2-0 in the series in Class 6. That looked like a 1-1 fight, right?
That is just devastating for Magna Terra right there. That was done. That was over. Dirk at the last possible moment makes it to the point, triggers the overtime, gives his team an opportunity to get back in there. We must have that sound barrier to keep Dazer alive through the Death Blossom, and they're somehow able to turn that fight on its head. Oh, that is just brutal to watch.
I don't know. I'm just here sitting. What happened? Because, I mean, I will say this is one of those maps where you see that happen a lot, because what you see happening, right, is that one team will barely touch, and then the defending team, so in this case Magna Terra, has to sort of decide how much do we send back to deal with that quickly enough, and how much do we keep forward, and when do we all rotate, etc. And it looks like there was a little bit of disconnect there, so that's why, you know, first Garms got taken out, and then they can just keep rolling through that hallway, and they get one more, and they get one more, and that eventually just snowballs into Dazer being able to throw out the Death Blossom with not much there to defend against it. And I don't know, it was painful to watch almost, but good on Class 6 for keeping their composure, because they could have just sort of given up and it's sort of like, yeah, we lost this point, but they didn't. They said it's winnable, and they proved us that it was winnable. So going into this fourth map, which is potentially the last map in the series, we're gonna see a map ban. We've had 2 control maps. We had a hybrid map. Hanamura isn't playable. What do you do? Where do you go when you're Magna Terra?
This is interesting. I mean, I think you kind of you want to take us to a different game mode. You can't take us to control once again, so they don't really have to worry about that. But really, I don't know that there is necessarily kind of a map choice here, because these teams are approaching this game in largely the same way. They're playing the same kind of compositions. Yes, they're stylistic things that are going on, kind of Dazer being on the flank a little bit more than I think most Reapers are. So maybe that's something you can consider, but that's a hard thing to kind of pick a map around.
Yeah, you can't really stop them from doing it, but I don't know. It feels like they're at least trying something. It's not gonna Magna Terra. They're getting better and better as the series goes on. I mean, they already drew out King's Row, and then maybe they just made. I mean, you might just say they made the mistake of going to Lijiang afterwards, but they might just feel it's their best game mode or their best map or something like that. At least they had a good argument for trying to win it, and they got very close as well to at least winning one stage. But right now, we're just waiting for Class 6 to see what they're going to ban. And maybe that's the map that Magna Terra wanted to pick, and then they're going to be in a pickle, because where are you going to select then? Which map are you going to go to? That's always a big question. And Class 6, they took their time, but they're going to ban out Gibraltar. And that is an interesting ban. It's not the best map for, a ground-based Doomfist Reaper composition, so maybe that makes sense. But on the other hand...
And while we are waiting on the map pick coming in from Magna Terra, I want to give a couple reminders to everyone at home. A couple things to do with the Twitch channel. You can scroll right down below the stream right now. You can see the MVP poll that we've got going on, and I gotta say we've got so many players popping off in this series so far that decision is a difficult one for sure.
Oh, it definitely is. And I always feel that the viewers, I mean, I would not say you don't care about who plays well, but sometimes we do see MVP picks come out just because you know the guy. And that's fine. I mean, if you want to support your friend, give him the MVP votes, by all means do it. I mean, everyone deserves a place in the day in the sun. It's just what happens. But the rising sun, throwback. But right now it looks like we're going to go to Eichenwald. So another hybrid map. Not a very big map type diversity tonight, but Eichenwald, that's a very open map in some places, but also very enclosed in others. So I don't really know if anything's going to change composition-wise. But again, there's always potential to, and it's Germany. So Blitzkrieg is a thing.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I could see kind of coming out here to change up is Afara. Maybe they're on point A and point B.
Yeah.
Once you get into that third section of Eichenwald, I don't see any way you go away from what we've been seeing so far. All those characters working kind of ideally in that close range environment. So I don't expect a lot of changes here. And both these teams seem pretty comfortable with what they've been running so far tonight. It kind of just comes down to the execution more than.
Yeah, on that third point, even if you're running a Farah, most teams will, if they don't want to run the Reaper Doomfist thing, they're gonna go over to the Junkrat sometimes, because it's kind of like a Farah, but he's more close range, ground based, so that kind of works in that section. But before that, I do agree. It's either maybe a Farah that then has to get countered by hitscan, or it's nothing at all. You just run the same thing you've been running everywhere, and it's a beautiful map. It's a beautiful map for day out in the sun, have a little bit of fun here and there, maybe visit the tavern, have a little bit of beer. It's just a beautiful map for that. But that being said, we have a lot of talent characters right now that are being played a lot, so I don't know how much fun they generally have. They're just like more worried about world domination at this point.
Yeah, they're a little bit dour. Not exactly the most lively bunch for the most part. I mean, it depends if you want to classify like Sombra as a talent character. There's a little bit of.
She technically is, right?
Yeah, she technically is. So there's a little bit of fun there, but for the most part, they're pretty serious people, and don't have the the fun going on. For the most part.
Yeah. I mean, you know, our Widowmaker says it only when she gets the kill she feels most alive. And I mean, if that's the fun you have, then you're not really drinking beer on the side, right? That's how that works. Although we know she does a little bit of house painting. She has a wine cellar. She knows how to enjoy herself. It's still a little bit of that Widowmaker life in Chateau Guilla. But right now, going over to this map, we're going to be seeing Class6 doing the defense thing first off.
And Dazer on the McCree this time. No more Reaper in the lineup for Class 6.
The Farah.
You know, and this
but
is something
there's no Farah.
Before. There's no Farah, so an advantage here, I think, for the side of Magna Terra.
Yeah, Nos immediately down, so that definitely looks like an advantage. If it wasn't, there is one now. They're gonna just run over them. Dirk not able to stay alive as well. You got your damage done, you got a lot of healing gone, but Squid and Zeus falling as well. Dazer gets taken out, so there's still a numbers advantage, but it is getting a little bit more tricky here for the attackers. That being said, over 2 ticks taken already. Only Seasons Infernal, but there is Nos coming back into the point. Season takes down Garm. Seasons will fall themselves. It's very even on this point right now, and who's gonna get the next pick? It's gonna be Nico going down, and who is gonna be the next one? It's just a rhythmic fight right now, and it's gonna be Nos falling, both Doomfists out of it, and the attackers have a little bit of a spawn advantage, so they could go in really quickly, but Iron Crit, a little bit lonely there, will speed out, gets the wall right on the clock tower, and the fight isn't over. Just a very long, drawn-out one, but it's a soft reset here, and they're gonna go back in, because they have the shields, they have the numbers, they have the attack. It's going to be Zeus going on the high ground, and Nos letting next to him. They didn't really see each other as they start off with. The Gravitic Flux is already out, though, from the defender, but doesn't get anything. Instead, it's going to be Nico taking down 2, well, only 2, because the rest is being taken down by the rest of the team, and it's going to be cleaned up. 6 kills down, 2.5 minutes, and it's going to be 5 minutes on the clock for B.
They get it on the second effort there. A nice retake coming in from Class 6 to keep that going for a little while longer. But they have to commit a lot of resources to do it. They use that gravitic flux crucially, and they don't have it. As Magna Terra pushes back in there, they're able to get this payload underway, and that's the start that they need here. They're trying to bring this series back.
Yeah, Dazer drops down there, doesn't have an ultimate to work with just yet, but Dirk and Zeus will both go down. We talked about it. The Moira is a little bit more advantage, and right now both Gravitic Flux, the Meteor Strike, the Sound Barriers came out. A lot of ultimates being used. There's a Supercharger from Garms just to clean everything up, and Seasons doesn't even want to challenge it, just runs away over the bridge, back to spawn, back into the castle where it's safe, because it's a fortress in there.
But Magna Terra does have to commit a lot to win that fight. You know, several ultimates coming out from them. You know, the sound barrier and the supercharger. So they are not, you know, going to have the best economy moving forward as Class 6 rotating through the high ground to take the fight.
Looks like they're gonna fight just before the bridge starts here. Meteor Strike is already out here from Nos, but only gets Nico with that. Seasons meanwhile has gone down as well, so less shielding, and that means that the Death Blessing could get more value, but luckily it doesn't, because there is an Infernal Shield in the way. They get a few more kills though, so the fight is still relatively even, and it's so scrappy on this point right now. Accretion goes out as well. Days are trying to get in close, but a little bit too personal, so they just say, you know what, we don't even need to see your ID, just go back to Jill, just to spawn Jill that you need to be at. The Gravitic Flux, though, getting a lot of value, gets Rovi out of the sky and out of life. Nico as well going down to the Coalescence, and with the supports and the tanks are going to pull this one back. It's going to be Magna Terra that has to go back to spawn this time.
I think Class 6 realized they needed to win that fight. If they got staggered out there towards the end, there was very real potential for that payload to just cruise all the way through point B. They commit the Coalescence and the Flux as well to make sure that happens, and now they get to set up.
It's set up a little bit further forward, at least on the high ground right now, which is a very nice position to be for some of these heroes. But Nos is going to try and flank it out. Nico and Nos and Dazer have been battling all day. Dazer going very low, and they're trying to follow that one up, but it's not going to happen. Gets healed back up. The Supercharger's out from the defense, though. Season's throwing that one out a little bit early, and they're just going to deter them from ever really pushing into them. It's going to be Nico trying out. Garms going very low, but no picks just yet. Nico getting halted, getting punched, getting accretion, and there goes Doomfist. Zeus is going to be able to get out with that Wraith form, but they don't really have the barriers to push forward right now. They're both down already, but there's the Gravitic Flux. That's a pretty good one. Are they going to get a follow-up from it? It's going to be Seasons going down, but meanwhile, Nos and Days are finding a kill each. And are they going to have any resources to really push back into it? Not just yet. They have some online, but they're going to have to wait to use them after they get back to spawn.
Yes, but they're able to draw quite a bit out from Class 6 there. Both of those support ultimates crucially invested as in a response to Rovi's Gravitic Flux. So now a distinct advantage for Magna Terra as they push back in here. Both of their support ultimates, the Meteor Strike on the way, and that Supercharger for Garms as well.
They're pushing through the high ground though, and they got the positioning. They got in there. Season's going very low. The Meteor Strike though gets Iron Crit, and that's not one you wanted to lose with that sound barrier. That being said, they take down Seasons. They take down Nos. They're on a tear right now. They get a lot of damage out to Garms though. With the really Graphitic Flux, he will go down, but they get Infernal on the other side. There's a Meteor Strike from Nico. Will he get the follow up? Goes for Dirk. Doesn't quite hit them, but it's a lonely Moira. How much harm can they really do if they're not healing anyone? It's going to be Dazer going over to that Moira, but will not able to get any follow-up. We'll actually get Nico out of that, but it will fall to Squid's Moira. So right now, they're pushing over the bridge. There's no Reaper coming out from the defense, and Nos and Kambimas are just hiding on that high ground. Are they going to get a kill from someone coming out of spawn? It doesn't look like it, but Nico is still a bit away. The numbers are there for the defense right now if they want to take it, and they take down Squid early. That's the Moira gone, and you immediately see the retreat coming in. They're running away. They don't want to take this fight, and they're going to try again in a little bit.
Yeah, losing Nico late in that fight was kind of the death sentence there for Magna Terra. They didn't have the potential for those easy pickoffs at the beginning of the fight, and they have to back off, give ground, and now we are down to their last attempt.
Again, going through the high ground, it's very clear now, so they have an easy position to go. And oh, nice halt. Gets Rovi. Rovi will fall off the map, not able to land on the little plateau underneath, and that's a nice combo. I didn't even know you could pull people over that one. Zeus teleporting in, though. Goes deep, gets punched away straight away, but has the Death Blossom ready. Throws it in there. Doesn't get any value out of it. He actually gets pulled off the map there. Not able to teleport away, but so does Inferno. A lot of environmental kills coming out on this one, and that's the part of the map where it happens. It looks like they're going to be able to clean it up. Everyone's almost down. It's just Dirk trying to defend with the lowly Moira. Once again, this time they're not going to be as heroic. It's going to be the point capture and getting into C. Minute and a half left. Looking very King's Row-esque over here.
That was almost a disaster there for Magna Terra, losing Rovi early. They almost lost Garms as well from that halt, but are able to turn it around, get the environmental kills of their own, and keep the payload moving. They're not going to have a lot of time here, so they need to keep this momentum going.
And Graphitic Flux is out, doesn't get anything. Nos already taking down Nico, and the Death Blossom is trying to follow up on anything, but doesn't really get that much because the Coalescence does so much healing from Squid. And right now they're just trying to get some value, but they need to get a pick or two in order to actually start pushing again. And with Rovi and Iron Crit going down, I think they're going to try to get that pick some other time.
Indeed they will, and now we're going to be kind of approaching the end of the opportunities for Magna Terra here. 40 seconds remaining. They'll have one good engagement as they push back in through the choke, and they're going to be pushing into a lot of ultimates on the side of Class 6. Both of those support ultimates, and losing Garms is crucial.
It really is, and there goes Rovi as well. No more tanks. You're really going to need those if you want to push ever. They're going to try and retreat up to the high ground, up to the castle. With their mobility abilities, they're going to be able to get out there. So it's going to be another push here. Iron Crit, that recreation. It's just filthy that hits. Zeus right now already too high, too far forward, gets taken out. And with a 5v6 they have to push in. Iron Crit already down as well. This is not looking well here for Magna Terra. And with a few meters into point C, it looks like that cart is going to get halted inside of this fortress.
Yes, just a little bit too desperate there at the end for Magna Terra. Class 6 have the ultimates they need to close it out. They get that opening pick onto Zeus as he was trying to get in position to trigger the overtime. And without that damage, without the easy ability to just get in there safely and get the overtime going, it all kind of falls apart for Magna Terra.
Yeah, it really does, doesn't it? I mean, they don't get that far into C. This is usually not where you see the payload halted. So that kind of means they almost have to hold them onto before B if they really want to get a hold on this map. And a draw, I think it's virtually possible, but not very likely. Let's just keep it at that. We're going to probably look at a map win for either team. And remember, if this is a map win that comes out here for the side of Class 6, that looks like the series is going to be done, and they have a good win condition.
And you said as we were going into point C, this was starting to look a lot like King's Row. Well, the
Not
difference here,
anymore.
Classics get the stop, and now if they come out with an offense like they had on Kings Row, it's all going to be over. The 3-0 will be complete, although the 3-0 in 4 maps. But, you know, Class 6, a very good opportunity here to close out.
Oh, and they're trying something new on the defense. Iron Crit on the Mercy, Zeus on the far. They're gonna pull it out. Dazer has the Widow selected right now. We don't know if they're gonna come out of spawn with that. They're probably gonna expect potentially a far on the other side, so that's probably why it's in there. But Nos and Kabimas, that's the one we're really looking forward to. Are they gonna pull it out?
This will be interesting. You know, we haven't seen the Pharaoh. We've kind of been
No, we
teasing it the
haven't.
entire series. We're gonna get it from
Oh,
both
there we
sides
go.
here. The dogfight is on.
And Zeus is was playing it careful, wasn't going over that initial building to spam into the spawn, so Dazer not getting an angle. Goes back over to the Reaper, but it's going to be Reaper versus Doomfist. That's the main difference we have in these compositions, and that's an interesting matchup.
Indeed it is, and I think it probably favors Magna Terra just a little bit, but Zeus going to be the one to get the first kill.
Yeah, went in deep, almost got taken out themselves, but got the kill into Nos regardless. Nico not getting anything from the punches just yet, goes in again, gets Inferno very low and takes them out. Of course, I cast a curse. Sorry, Inferno, I didn't mean to do it. Right now, though, it's going to be back to the air battle. Nos versus Zeus. And Nos is just backing off. They don't want to push without their Sigma, and I can understand that. You want that shield, you want that extra damage, and they're just going to wait until he's back.
And now Dazer giving up on the Reaper here, wants to put some pressure directly onto Zeus. You know, give Nos a little bit of support in terms of to that aerial battle, and you know, try to take the Pharah out of the sky.
Nos is in relatively deep already without the rest of the team barely getting through the choke. So Nos trying to get some from the back, but they get Squid. Nico as well. Seasons, yes, they fall, but they still have a lot of healing on the attack. Iron Crit falling. Doesn't look like anything is going to happen here. Gurm's falling, and this is going to be a pretty quick cleanup. And I don't think they have a lot to contest it with, because Squid is only now coming out of spawn with Nico.
No, not really any chance here for the side of Magna Terra to get back in here unless Nico wants to go for something crazy. Not going to happen, so it's going to have to be the point defense here realistically for Magna Terra if they want to make their stand.
4.5 minutes, a lot of time to work with for the attack, but we saw how hard it can be to push over that bridge with all the environmental kills, so maybe if they get there, that's going to be their boon. Right now, though, they have a lot of ultimates on both sides coming up or already ready. Nico just falling down, going underneath in the castle, and right now they're holding at the gate. Or at least part of the team is, and part of the team is attacking there as well. They split up the fight a lot. There's the first barrage coming out of Nos, gets 2, and they follow up on the Garms as well. Nos and Dazer being taken out, so if that res can come in onto Nos, they have a very good numbers advantage, which it does, but so does the rest from Iron Crit. So they're still even. Nos taken down again, but so is Zeus. No fires in the sky, no Squid on the ground. It means that right now, the numbers and respawn advantage is there for the attack, but they're definitely stalling it out for quite a bit. They're finally going to get a payload rolling again, but that was a lot of ultimates used on both sides, I'd say.
Yeah, realistically, we're going to kind of come away pretty even in terms of the economy right here. You know, Dazer has that Deadeye ready to go. Going to be potent to keep Zeus from really being able to go aggressive.
Right now, they're just trying to look at Nos, but Nos has no challenge in the sky. The High Noon is out, and it's going to be the Sky Noon. What a kill. Just Graphitic Flux in the air, no shield to block it, gets 3, and it looks like they're just going to stroll on into B with 3.5 minutes left. That's going to be almost 5 minutes on the clock with only 25.98 meters to go. This is looking very dire.
Indeed it is. I mean, this is getting real desperate for Magna Terra here. That both teams, I think, going to be making the swap back to kind of the meta composition. Not still sticking with the Pharah, though. But, you know, now the Doomfist and Reaper back in play for Magna Terra.
Zeus going deep, very low, but not taken out. Nico is there with the Meteor Strike as well. Takes down the Supercharger, nothing else, and Iron Crit's the first to fall. Nice Graphitic Flux coming in. Will they get the follow-up off of that? It does look like the tanks are going to go down, so this fight is going in a very good way here for Magna Terra. Both Coalescence is out as well. Dazer trying to go for the back line. Doesn't have an ult yet. It looks like they're going to reset here. Nos trying to fly around, has the Barrage, but are they going to use that, or are they just going to switch? That's the main question we have right now.
Personally, I would like to see the swap coming in. I don't think the Pharah really gets a lot of value here, even with the Barrage. And given how good Nos has been on the Doomfist, that wouldn't be a bad call here. But he's going to stick it out for this ultimate at least. And we'll see if he can get enough done with it for Class 6 to finish the job.
Nice barrage gets 3. We're saying, yeah, that's almost the casters I want to say. That gets 3. Dazer follows it up. Infernal as well, and only Rovi left alive. Will not be long for this world. Looks like this is going to be a map completion, a series completion, and Class 6 strolling their way through another victory.
Well, smart people know to ignore me just in general, kind of across the board. But, I eat my words right there at the end. And we're going to get to take another look at it. I have a feeling here. Nas with the barrage to close things out. Set up by the
pull
Hulk
into it as well.
Seasons. Just beautiful combos there coming out. I mean, we saw it to close off point B, the Flux High Noon combo. Coming out, they were just on point with those things pretty much all night.
Oh yeah, it was just a very good game from Class 6. Not that Magna Terra didn't put up a fight, but there was this general feeling that Class 6 was just the one to be overthrown, and that was just not gonna happen at all tonight. Maybe they would have been able to take a map, maybe like a point on control, but the general series vibe I felt was definitely in Class 6's favor. So, they win the series. Another win on the board, going over to the upper bracket finals, which is technically like the semifinals. Still have one game after that, but that would be the grand finals. So they're going up well, and I'm really curious to say what's gonna happen in the interview in a little bit. Have fun with that one, Shy Guy.
For sure, we'll get that going in just a second. But before we get there, I want to remind everyone at home, you can go right before. We've got a few more minutes here to get your votes in for that MVP poll. A lot of good candidates on both sides, and I think in just a moment we're going to be able to talk with one of us. Days are going to join us for the post-match interview, and I think this is going to be a good conversation. Days are welcome.
Hello.
So, that was a really fun series for us to watch, and I hope it was fun for you to play in as well.
Yeah, it's fun to roll,
Well, I mean, you say you rolled in that series, but we felt that Magna Terra kind of made it close at times. They got the draw there on King's Row. Let's go back to that map a little bit. What was the kind of reasoning behind going over Zarya for that second attack, and why do you think it didn't really work out for you guys?
We used to run a comp that involved Zarya, and we haven't played that comp in a hot minute in scrims, and someone, I don't remember who, and I'm not gonna say who, they might have called the comp, and then a lot of people might have agreed with it while I was listening to music. So we just kind of ran out on the comp, and we ended up spending 3 minutes doing nothing, and it didn't really work out for us in the end.
Okay, so in that situation, at that point, are you guys like, we need to buckle down here, close out this series, and really kind of prove it at this point?
Oh yeah, afterwards they're just like, all right guys, we can't be running troll comps. We're just gonna go in 3-0, easy clap. That was pretty much the thought process after that map.
For sure. Well, I mean, you put it to fruition there at the end. A really dominant showing there, especially on Eichenwald to close it out. That offense was something to behold. And I know you spend most of your time stuck on Reaper at this point. How does it feel to get to break out the McCree every day?
Breaking out the McCree is like, it's an experience, it's a celestial experience. Like when the moons align correctly and we're up against Magna Terra, sometimes I just gotta whip it out, So it was a pretty good time.
I mean, and I'm sure that Deadeye in particular just feels so good right now.
Yup. It was nice. It was nasty.
Yeah. I mean, a really excellent performance, I think, from you guys across the board here tonight. And, in my mind, I have now seen all 3 of your games in this tournament. And to me, it kind of feels like you guys are ramping up and continuing to just, settle into the tournament and really, get your feet up underneath you right now. Does it feel like you're kind of gaining momentum as you go?
Yeah, we've been like throwing it back in scrims and trying really hard so that we can just continue to dominate teams. And we hope that like by the end of the tournament, there's not even like a King's Row that exists. It's just like completely 3-0. They don't win a single fight. So that's what our plan is for the rest of the tournament.
For sure, and I'm definitely looking forward to getting to see what you guys have in store for us for the rest of this event. Next up is going to be, of course, the winners bracket final coming in. Our second game tonight going to be determining who you go up against. I believe we've got Bermuda Academy going up against Dismissed, and I think that's going to be a really interesting matchup. Do you have any thoughts on that one?
I don't know who's on Dismissed. I know Bermuda Academy, and they're probably going to win that one. If they don't win that one, then that's kind of unfortunate. So that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of agree with that. Part of me feels like we've kind of been barreling towards you guys meeting, in the upper bracket finals, and now we're just one match away from that. So I'm very excited for the potential that we've got.
Yep, it should be a match. We're probably gonna win it, but it should be a match to have. I'm looking forward to it as well.
Well, I love seeing the confidence from you guys, and given how these last few games have been going, I can't say it's misplaced at this point. You really have shown up so far, and is there anything kind of in particular that you guys kind of attribute that to in terms of like preparation, or is it just straight up, you're better than everybody else?
I think currently we have way better coordination than a lot of these teams that are going to the tournament with, because like this meta is not really that intensive about mechanics, to be honest. It's more just like who has Orisa pull combo down better than the other team, and I think that we just have it down better than every team that we're going against, and the mechanical edge that we have helps a lot in securing like these wins.
Indeed, it does, and I'll let you jump in here, Magna Class, if you've got any questions for our guests.
No, I think we've grilled them enough. It's there's not much to grill. I mean, I like the confidence, and obviously, what else are you gonna say? Like we're gonna lose every match after this? No, you're gonna win, and then rightfully so. I mean, if you get a performance like this tonight, I don't blame them. It's gonna be an amazing follow-up, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of them in the future.
Absolutely. Well, Dazer, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. I really appreciate the chance to get to talk to you a little bit. Good luck with the rest of the tournament. But before you go, I do want to give you the opportunity, give some shout outs here, plug anything, anybody streams, anything like that you want to do before you head out.
Big thanks to Mr. Hoogie Overwatch on Twitch. That guy is just a great man. Hoogie OW. Really one of my favorite streamers to watch. So yeah, that's where all my shout-outs are going.
Fair enough. Always good to shout out whoever you like to watch yourself and just whoever else. But yeah, thank you for the interview and thanks for coming in with us. Good luck in the future matches. May there only be 2 apparently, because that's all you really have left if you only win. Yeah, thanks and have a great night.
Yep, you too.
Thank you very much. So, yeah, it's like the only thing we're looking forward to now is seeing who you guys vote for as your MVP, because there isn't much about a match without an MVP, is there?
That's true indeed, and it does look like it's going to be coming down. Nico of Magna Terra coming in as the viewers MVP here tonight, putting up a pretty strong performance on the Doomfist, all night. Really, I think going toe to toe in a lot of situations with Nos. And that's pretty admirable in and of itself, I think.
Yeah, and obviously, I mean, Dazer kind of alluded to it, saying, what, it's not about the mechanics, it's a lot also about the Orisa pool combos, and the mechanics just help. So Nico showing off that mechanical skill, but then if the team coordination isn't quite there, you can be as great of a Doomfist as you want, but eventually they're just going to overpower you a little bit. Unfortunately, that's what happened to Magna Terra, but that doesn't mean that Nico didn't show up huge tonight. So I'm agreeing with that pick, and yeah, I mean that's just a great one.
Yeah, and this loss for Magna Terra doesn't mean that their run in this tournament is over. They still have a chance to fight their way through that losers bracket come back. And I don't think that, I mean, obviously this is not the last we've seen of them, but I don't think they are anywhere close to being done at this point. They are a very talented team, and giving Class 6 a run for their money here tonight gives you a good idea of the caliber of players that they got.
Yeah, and this was game 14, so Magna Terra is gonna go up against the winner of Soisik Esports versus Hunky Dory, which should be happening in I think it's 2 days from now. So that's not too long that they have to wait until they found out who they face. But for now, that's the first match done for the night. We'll be back in about half an hour with the next one, which is, as previously stated, Dismissed versus Bermuda Academy. And I'll see you on the other side. I've been Men of Class, and unfortunately, Shy Guy, I believe you have other stuff to take care of. So
Yes.
we'll see you another time. But where
Yep.
can people find you?
Yes, you can find me on Twitter at ShyGuyOW, all one word. That's where you can find anything I'm doing, casting, writing about Overwatch, anything and everything that I'm up to, you can find there. And as you said, unfortunately, this is going to be my last game for tonight, but we got a really juicy one in the next one. So be sure to stick around. We'll be back in just under half an hour for that one, and I cannot wait to see it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great one. See you guys on the other side. And for now, just go grab some drinks, grab some snacks, play a game or two of Overwatch because you've got about 28 minutes. And yeah, once again, see you there.